Article 1325. Unless it appears otherwise, business advertisement of things for sale are not definite offers, but mere invitations to make an offer. Business advertisement of things for sale may or may not constitute definite offer. They are merely invitation to the reader to make an offer or only ask proposals. For example, for sale 400 square meter lot Barangay Calya, Santa Cruz, Laguna for 600K. As we can see, the advertisements are just invitations for people to make an offers. If the offers are made, the same may or may not be accepted by the advertiser, being mere invitation. However, if the advertisement is complete in all the particulars necessary in a contract, it may amount to the definite offer, or it is a definite offer when the object is determinate. Next is Article 1326. Advertisements for bidders are simply invitation to make proposals, and the advertiser is not bound to accept the highest or lowest bidder unless the contrary appears. In an advertisement of bidders, the advertiser is not the one making the offer. As a general rule, the advertiser is not bound to accept the highest bidder or the lowest bidder unless the contrary appears. In Article 1326, we have the effect of bidding. In an advertisement, it can be concluded that the best bid, highest or lowest, give rise to a binding contract. In this case, each bid implies perfection or contract subject to the condition of making better bid. If this condition is not specially provided, each bid is merely an offer. The advertiser is free to reject the bid. We also have the judicial sale. Highest bid must necessarily be accepted. Next is Article 1327. The following cannot give consent to a contract. A contract entered into where one of the parties is incapable of giving a consent to a contract is violable. Violable means in law is a transaction or action that is valid but may be annulled by one of the parties to the transaction. Those who are incapacitated to give consent under Article 1327 are the following: unemancipated minors, insane or demented person, and deaf mutes. Unemancipated minors. They refer to those persons who have not yet reached the age of majority, 18 years, and are still subject to parental authority. Next is insane or demented persons. The insanity must exist at the time of contracting. Unless proved otherwise, a person is presumed sane. It means when a person is insane or demented, he is detached from reality, he does not know what he is doing, or he cannot act with legal effects. Last is the deaf mutes. They are persons who are deaf and dumb. A person who does not know how to read, write, and one who knows how to read necessarily knows how to write. However, if the deaf mute knows how to write, the contract is valid, for then he is capable of giving intelligent consent. Reason for disqualification. The reason behind Article 1327 is that those persons mentioned can easily be the victims of fraud, as they are not capable of understanding or knowing the nature or importance of their actions. They can be entered into a contract only through a parent or guardian. Next is Article 1328. Contracts entered into during a lucid interval are valid. Contracts agreed to in a state of drunkenness or during a hypnotic spell are violable. Lucid interval is a temporary period of sanity. A contract entered into by an insane or demented person during a lucid interval is valid. It refers to a brief period during which an insane person regains sanity that is sufficient to regain the legal capacity to contract. In Article 1328, we have the effect of drunkenness and the hypnotic spell. It cannot give an intelligent consent when a person is entered a contract while in a state of drunkenness and hypnotic spell. The contract is violable, but when a person is under the lucid interval, the contract is valid. These conditions are equivalent to temporary insanity. Hence, the law considers a contract entered into a state of drunkenness or during a hypnotic spell violable, and it is not required that such a state was procured by the circumvention of the other party. Next is Article 1329. The incapacity declared in Article 1327 is subject to the modification determined by law and is understood to be without prejudice to special disqualification established in the laws. Incapacity declared in Article 1327 subject to modifications. In general, the contracts entered into by the person enumerated in Article 1327, which are the unemancipated minors, insane or demented persons, and deaf mutes, are violable. However, in certain cases, their incapacity may be modified by law, that is, they can also give valid consent. Other special disqualifications may be provided by law. Under the rules of court, the following are considered incompetents and may be placed under guardianship. They called incompetents because they don't have the ability or skill to do something as it should be done. Next is Article 1330. A contract where consent is given through mistake, violence, intimidation, undue influence, or fraud is violable. In order that consent may be valid for purposes of contract, it is required not only that it exists, but that it must be given with exact understanding over the thing consented to. In other words, the contract must be based on the genuine assent of both parties to the contract and the terms thereof. There is no valid consent unless it is intelligent, it is free and voluntary, and it is conscious or spontaneous. It is intelligent because there is capacity to act. It is free and voluntary because there is no violation of consent by reason of violence or intimidation. It is conscious or spontaneous because there is no violation of consent by reason of mistake, undue influence, or fraud. There is 5 vices of consent in Article 1330. Number 1 is the error or mistake. Error or mistake is a substantial mistake and not merely an accidental mistake. Number 2 is the violence or force. An external, serious, or irresistible physical force exerted upon a person to prevent him from doing something or to compel him to do an act. Number 3 is the intimidation or threat or duress. It is an internal moral force operating in the will and inducing performance of an act. Next is the undue influence. It is means employed upon a party which under the circumstances could not be resisted and has the effect of controlling his volition and inducing him to give his consent to the contract, which otherwise he could not have entered into. Lastly is the fraud or deceit. It is use of insidious words or machination in inducing another party to enter into the contract, which without them he would not have agreed. Next is Article 1331. In order that mistake may invalidate consent, it should refer to the substance of the thing which is the object of the contract, or to those conditions which have principally moved or both parties to enter into the contract. Mistake as to identity or qualifications of one of the parties will violate consent only when such identity or qualification have been the principal cause of the contract. In Article 1331, we have the meaning of mistake or error. Mistake or error is the false notion of the thing or a fact material to the contract. When you make a mistake, you've done something incorrectly, and errors are interesting because it gives you a chance to learn something for the first time. Next, we have the nature of mistake. Number 1, mistake may be fact or of law. In general, the mistake to which Article 1331 refers is mistake of fact. Mistake of fact generally refers to a mistaken understanding by someone as to the fact of a situation. Number 2, the mistake contemplated by law is substantial mistake of fact. The party would not have given his consent had he known of the mistake. Hence, not every mistake will violate consent and make a contract violable. Number 3, the mistake may be unilateral when one party is mistaken about a material fact, or bilateral or mutual when both parties are in error. Generally, a person who makes mistake cannot avoid liability to the innocent party unless he showed that he was free of fault or negligence. Next, we have the effect of mistake of account, where mistake simple. A simple mistake of account or calculation does not avoid a contract because it does not affect its essential requisites. The defect of merely in the computation of the account or amount which can be corrected. Second, where mistake gross, where the mistake was so gross that it was clearly apparent to one party and therefore would be impossible to escape his notice. Said party cannot avoid liability on the ground of mistake in computation.